Namaskar. I Shambhavi welcome you all to your channel Galactic Echoes. So let's start exploring the wisdom of Vedic astrology. And today we'll be doing the sixth episode of What is the Rising in Your Navamsa chart series. And today we'll be discussing if you have Virgo rising in your Navamsa chart, how being a Virgo ascendant will lay a basic foundation in your married life or in your marriage setup or your life after 36 years of your age in case you don't get married before that. So that is the age when Navamsa gets activated. So we take 36 years, the maturity age of Saturn, to be the activation of Navamsa chart. How will it unfold and what kind of specific results it can give? We'll figure it out today. So let's start the video and let's dive in. So the first and foremost thing, if you have Virgo rising in your Navamsa chart or you are a Virgo ascendant in your Navamsa chart, it suggests that because of the fact that Venus is the Atma Karaka of the Navamsa chart, it is the most important planet to look into if you are reading Navamsa chart from marriage setup or marriage point of view. So basically, like Sun is the Atma Karaka of our birth chart, similarly the Venus is the Atma Karaka of our Navamsa chart. So what it shows is, what it portrays is that Virgo is the sign where Venus gets debilitated, and your rising and your Navamsa chart is starting with that sign only, which is Virgo. So yes, it really displays a kind of a karmic connection you will have with your spouse. So that will be constantly the thing in your marriage setup. You would feel, be it in a positive way or in a negative, that yes, you were karmically destined for the person you are with or with your spouse, right? This relationship was destined by the universe and it was given by the divine. This kind of a thing will always be present in your relationships if you are a Virgo rising in Navamsa. Now the next thing, it might come to you as a harsh truth, but I have to say it because I cannot deny it, that whatever relationships you encounter in your life, even before getting married, basically romantic partnerships or anything related to spouse, or you having someone as your counterpart, will lack love. There will be constant thinking of this thing in your mind, in your brain. You would think, there's something lacking in this relationship, and you'll feel this thing with almost all your relationships throughout life, that there is no harmony, there is no love making, and it is very much calculative. You give me this, I'll give you that. You have to put in that much of effort and I'll have to put that much of effort. This kind of thinking will constantly be there inside you, and you won't do these things. You will think that your partner is doing these things. You want to love limitlessly, but your partners are not into that kind of a thing. You will encounter such people. Why? Because Virgo is the most karmic sign of all the 12 zodiac signs in the zodiac belt. So yes, it really shows that a deep karma is related to your relationship and your married life. So there will be that karmic lesson. You will have to learn that lesson in your married life or through people you encounter and you intermingle romantically. With this Navamsa rising, being a Virgo rising as your Navamsa, you will also feel constantly throughout your life, even if you get married, even if you are with someone constantly through since 10 years, you have been dating someone since 10 years, but still you will think that there is something, this, I'm alone in this race of challenges, in this to deal with the disputes and challenges of the life. Whatever life throws at me, I have to deal with it alone. I don't have anyone beside me who could stand with me and who will say that I'm standing with you. So this will be a constant thinking, but that is also the only remedy which you can do. Like, you have to understand that you are thinking that you are alone in this whole journey. Maybe you are not. Maybe you are not able to see through it, see through those anxieties of yours. But you have to understand this, that that is the only remedy. You have that calculating power, right? You can effectively, creatively calculate. So I think you should calculate everything, all the challenges and all the disputes, and when you think that it is my problem, even if it is on of your family's problem, but I have to find a solution myself to it, then only you will be able to come to a solution which is really fruitful. You have to understand this, and if you are thinking this, that you are alone in this journey, then you have to go with it. You have to sail with it. You cannot fight against the flow. It is important to understand when to go with the flow and when to fight it. So this is the major thing with this Virgo rising in your Navamsa chart. Now you are constantly fighting your own thoughts. I am alone and nobody is with me, and people are not supporting me. My wife is not, or my husband is not there with me, and they were not there with me on my big day. But that is the thing, right? You have to accept it. It's all right if they are not there. It's all right if they are not present. I have to deal with it alone because I am the one facing this challenge and my profession will be made. When you will have this kind of ideology and mindset in your life, you would feel much better with this Virgo rising in Navamsa chart. And there might also be a sort of a dryness in your married life. You will feel that it is very dry and it is very uh, not colorful sort of a thing, and I have to socially present myself with my spouse. We have to give social presence together because it is demanded, it is expected by the society. But you'll think that I don't want to do this. And maybe at a certain age, maybe, and especially after 32 years of your age, when your Mercury matures, you will socially cut yourself off from the relatives, from the social gatherings. And you will say that if I'm alone, why shouldn't I be going alone to the places, to the people, to the social gatherings, to the social setups, social groups? Why do I have to take my spouse with myself, right? This will be this thinking can develop in you post 32 years of your age, but that really depends on the bad placement of Mercury. Now if your Mercury is very much it's in a parivartan yoga with Venus, then yes, this will be the sure thing which you'll see. But now the thing is that you don't want to intermingle with the people at a large. You are more connected to the unseen of the society, to the downtrodden section of the society, the people who are not in the limelight. They are not taken seriously by the society. You would want to work for them creatively. You would want to care for them. You would want to nourish them. That will be the sort of personality you might grow into post 36 years in your life, basically in the later half of your life. That I don't have to go into marriage parties or birthday parties which are being thrown by my relatives. I should be more into upliftment of the people who are not able to get into this kind of a setup. They are the marginalized ones. You will be more prone to those things. Now because we know that Mercury is a trader, right? And Mercury, it gives a certain kind of a growth. Now the growth will matter a lot. What kind of growth is it? Is it the growth of your anxiety? Is it the growth of your business? Is it the growth of the challenges and disputes in your married life? Or is it the growth of a good married life? That will depend on the placement of Mercury. But yes, because Mercury is a good planet, it is a benefic energy and it rules your Navamsa chart. So definitely there would be some kind of increase, but you will have to judge the placement of Mercury. You will keenly have to observe it in your birth chart as well as your Navamsa chart. It will really give you great insights into the kind of increase you will see in your life post marriage or post 36 years of your age. Now because the Virgo sign, it represents challenges, disputes, court cases, divorce also sometimes, and we are talking about Navamsa. So what does it represent is that you will be very much inclined towards competing in the later half of your life. Now maybe you are a, let's say, Pisces ascendant in your birth chart. You were very much watery energy. You were more into caring, spiritually aligning yourself, and you were very much creatively inclined. But with Virgo rising directly opposite, it's a 360-degree turn in your life, right? Being a Pisces ascendant, it will be a 360-degree turn in your life. What you will see is that you are more calculative. You are more, about those prized possessions sort of a personality you will become. That I have to achieve it at any cost. You'll be more competing. You'll be more, if there is no race, or if there is no win and lose situation connected to anything in your life, you won't perform better at all. That will be the thing which will be the forming the core personality in your life, that if there's a race, if there's a competition, I will succeed it, and you will perform really well there. Like if you are into especially corporate systems of any kind, of any industry you belong to, and there you have your bosses, they have given you a desired goal, you have to achieve it within a limited time, and there is a great prize attached to that goal, you would definitely outshine everyone. So this is the thing which you will see being a Virgo rising in your chart. So you need that competition and that constant racing to perform good, to perform better, because you have been, your married life is, it is dry. You think that people, maybe it is not, but you are thinking that it is dry, and you think that my married life is all dry and it is not performing well, and I'm alone in this whole world. That is why you are into this kind of a system where if you have to let down someone, you will really perform well, really form a core basis of your life post marriage. Now if Rahu is placed in a very good sign, basically in Taurus or in Capricorn or in its own sign of Aquarius, or in Lagna itself in the sign of Virgo, you will see you have that obsession towards animals and their caring. You would really go into that marathon on the 5th June. It is the World Environment Day. So you will really want to participate into it, and you will really take it seriously. On top of that, people, they go for relaxing, and we should do something, and they are putting stories on their uh, profiles and whatnot. But you will be the person with this Rahu placement, that you are really inherently, you think that it is my inherent calling towards caring animal and to the giving back to the environment. Why? Because you are not getting back from the people. This is something, a main cause for this behavior. Interesting fact is that apart from the humans, anything which is living on this planet is represented by planet Rahu. This is a very interesting fact. That is why the people who are not connected to their family members or humans in a general way, they are more connected to the animals and environment, because it is the kind of shadowy energy which is taking inside you, but it is good, because Rahu it rules the sign of Aquarius, and it suggests that you are working for the living beings who are not much cared in today's world. So this is a very good thing which you will see with this Virgo rising in your Navamsa chart. You will be taking very much practical decisions about your married life. Now you won't sway away because of your emotions, or because of the love, and love is the pious thing. You will see that this is the person, and he or she is earning well, and they will contribute into the family, and they're having good intellect, and maybe I can connect to them on a emotional level post marriage. But it never happens. So this is the thing which is the major drawback with you. You are taking a practical decision, and then you are thinking that the person who you are married to, or who you engaged with, will be connecting to you through a emotional plane post marriage, which is not possible at all. Because if you are taking some practical decisions, if you are getting profit out of something, out of anything, be it a relationship or not, then you would have to accept some drawbacks also. And that is the thing where you fail. You all Virgo risings in the Vamsha, you fail to understand that with profit comes loss, with privilege comes duty. This is the thing which you have to understand. And you think that why is this person behaving so emotionally, I don't understand it. So that is the thing. It really poses challenges in your married life. You have to accept both faces of the coin. You cannot extract heads or tails out of it. So this is something you should look into, being a Virgo rising in a Navamsha chart. Now there has been a record of this thing, that divorces and not getting married is a common thing with Virgo rising. But that really depends on the damage of the 7th house in your birth chart, and the 7th house on Navamsha, and Jupiter also, and whatever your 7th lord is in the birth chart, that on these two planets and these two houses, all of the story, it is based on these four things: two houses and two planets. Now if they are very well placed, you will get married, but it will be a dry marriage. You should not expect a fairy tale out of it. And if it is not in a very good condition, all these four things, you can encounter such negative consequences out of your marriage, or even the denial of marriage. So this is something which you should consider seriously. Now let's talk about some good things, because I have been telling all the bad things since the start of this video. So if you are a Virgottam rising, basically if you have Virgo rising in your Navamsa chart as well, and Virgo rising in your birth chart as well, it really suggests that you will have a long life and a blessed one. And the blessed one in sense that you will have all the business prowess. You will have all of the world's IQ, calculation, prowess, and all these things, intelligence basically on all levels. You will be able to crack that deal innovatively, which no one could. So, that is the thing which will be bestowed to you by Lord Shiva, because Shiva is the deity which rules all the dual signs, and Virgo is a dual sign. So, this non living karaka of the Virgo, it will be amplified, and you will also get money with this, because a debilitated Venus, and Venus, why I'm taking it, either you have Venus in the first house or not, because Venus is the Atma Karaka of the Navamsa chart. We have to take it into consideration, and Venus is the Atma Karaka. Your rising is the debilitation, a sign of the Venus. So yes, it will give ample amount of money to you. On that plane, you don't have to take much tension about that there will be a constant money inflow in your life. Like, you will be growing into a kind of personality of Jews. They're very much cunning. They're very much they are like shrewd businessmen. And why they are so? Because they have a history of violence. That is why that personality traits, they have been developed in them since ages. And that is similarly the case with you. Now, I'm not saying that you will be having a history of violence, but yes, you will be having a history of some bad things and some bad events and memories in your life. So this will be the thing which made you into such kind of a cunning and shrewd businessman, that you only think about profit and you extract it. Yes, you make it. So that is the major thing. If your professional life is good, then you have to sacrifice at an end. So you are sacrificing at your personal end, with your married life getting unsettled. So this is something which you will see as a Virgo rising in Navamsa chart. Now, all these things what I have said will be supported by the fact that ancient classical texts on astrology, be it Nadi astrology or Parashar Navamsa astrology as well, they have written this fact that all the earth element signs in Navamsa chart, basically your Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn, are governed by the themes of Kali Yuga. They are governed by the themes of Kali Yuga. What is this theme of Kali Yuga? This is the theme that there are four dharma in basic way. They are basically Vishwa Dharma, duty towards global issues and global settings, and duty towards your mother earth. Rashtra Dharma, which is the third dharma, it is the duty towards your nation. Samaj Dharma, this is the second dharma, which is the duty towards your society, your community, your groups, your relatives also. In modern sense, we can take relatives. And Swadharma. Swadharma is duty towards yourself and your family. So because your rising sign is an earth element sign, and all the earth element signs are governed by the themes of Kali Yuga, you people, or the planets placed in the Taurus, Virgo or Capricorn sign, they empower you to only follow one dharma out of all these four dharma. And it is only Swadharma, which is duty towards yourself. Now, you are that person who would only want to work for themselves. You just want everything for yourself, and if Mercury is very good placed, so only to your family. It won't stretch at any cost to any other relative. Like you, your parents, your spouse and your children, that are the only people you will take into consideration in this Swadharma if Mercury is well placed. If not, then it would shrink your area of the Swadharma, and it would only consider you. You yourself will be taken into consideration for this Swadharma concept. So you will be working throughout your life in the later half for yourself and your family. You might have been through certain circumstances that shaped you into such kind of a personality. right? That you only want to work for yourself. So that is the point which really empowers this point, that yes, you will face challenges, you will conquer it, and then you will face the reality of the life, of the world, and practically you will start working for yourself only. So although it is the sign where Venus gets debilitated, but yes, a benefic energy is there present in your chart, which is the center of attraction. So you will see challenges in your life and in your married life, but you will be able to conquer it, and you will be able to steer through it. So that will be the thing. The planets which are placed in the trikon, basically first, fifth, or ninth house, or in the fourth, seventh, or 10th house, if the benefic planets are there, it will really amplify the results and the good results. And if there are malefics present, it can give you bad experiences also, and it can also amplify it. But then whole analysis of the chart has to be taken into consideration, because being a Virgo ascendant, you will see that fifth house is being ruled by Saturn, which is a malefic energy, and if it sits in the fifth house of yours, so it is not destroying the house, right? It is not destroying the relevance of the house, because it is placed in its own sign. For that, whole chart has to be analyzed, but on a basic level, the fourth, seventh, and 10th house should be either empty, or they should be occupied by the benefic energies. That is the saying which goes with the Navamsa chart. Now all sorts of Virgo energies will be forming the base of your married life. Why? Because the first house of your Navamsa chart is the seventh house of your spouse, because your spouse is seen from the seventh house of your Navamsa chart. So your spouse is like a Pisces and you are like a Virgo. So you and your married life will be very much dependent on Virgo. Why? Because see, D9 is a double entity chart, it is the intermingling of your and your spouse's energy. It is not your single chart. So what it represents is that uh, the energies of Virgo will be the basis of your married life. Challenges, disputes, and daily struggles, and all of these things will be seen. They can be seen, I must say, if you do not get into a regular habit of something. Like, it is not important for you to have a regular conversation with your spouse, more than the fact that you should have a daily routine which you should follow daily consistently in your life. This is the more important thing which you should be doing. That will nullify the negative aspects of this Virgo sign. You should make a timetable and you should follow it. Maybe you, whatever your timetable is, whatever your daily routine is, you should be sticking to it. That can really negate the negative consequences out of this Virgo sign. Basically, your married life will be dependent on this either daily routine, challenges, disputes, or your job setting also. So maybe you and your spouse, they go into a same building, but you work different on different floors. That can also be seen. So this is something which is which will be forming a major concept in your married life, in your marriage setup at a whole. Now, being a Virgo rising, your family will be very much balanced. They'll be more structured oriented. They would want, if you are getting like into a fight, they would suggest you that why don't you find the root cause of the problem. What is the root cause? You are fighting over this issue with your spouse, with your wife, or with your husband. What is the root cause? So that they will be more structure oriented people in your family. Post marriage, you will see that, and they'll be suggesting you to find balance in your life, and they'll be suggesting you to have a hard working, balanced life. Your face might get balanced. So maybe if you are bulky before getting married, or you were too skinny before getting married, you after marriage will be more of a balanced sort of a personality. So your face won't look either skinny or too bulky. So that is something which you will see. I must say that you should have a regular appointment with your dentist after marriage, because that is an important thing. You can encounter some dental problems after marriage, and the your younger siblings, they'll be more secretive sort of a personality. They'll become and evolve into a secret sort of a personality. They would want to not share many things with you after your marriage. They would be either into constantly transformation sort of a thing, or you will see that their life is constantly going up and down, up and down after you getting married. So although the intensity of this roller coaster ride for your siblings would should be checked from the placement of Mars, but yes, there would be a certain kind of ups and downs in the life of your younger siblings. Your home will be more like a sanctuary. You will have a homely comfort which is very much connected to and in the form of a temple setup. So you'll see that your wife or whatever, your husbands or your parents, are constantly getting up early in the morning, and they are doing their religious prayers, the morning prayers, and there would be a constant environment of that religious authority and religious there will be that presence of that divine in your house after your marriage. You can also see that there would be increase in the amount of guests who are coming to your house, and they are into either professions related to teaching or mentoring or consulting or guiding someone. So you'll feel that people who are coming to my home for visiting us are more into that kind of a personality, and they are very much wisdom full. They are full of wisdom, and they really suggest good ideas. That will be the thing in your case. Your children will be very much hardworking. They will be very much organized. They would be very much towards public dignity. Now this might as I've said in the video earlier, that you won't want to go into public or social gatherings with your spouse, because you would want to cut yourself off from that. And your children are the people, they would want to establish that public domain, they would want to establish that public dignity in your family, inside your family, or whatever social gatherings they're going into. So they might ask you as children, like they are 10, 12 years of age, that why are you and our mother or our father not going together, because we see everyone's parents coming in together. Like you don't go into parent teachers meetings of ours, and why, what is the problem? So they might ask you this thing, and it can create conflict with the children if you are very much into that alone kind of a setup. So you can and you should consider it very seriously. They would love to dress up professionally and with a ironed suit and all whatever the clothes are, but they would expect you to do so, and that can again create challenges in the relationship between you and your children, because you are that reckless trader and you think that it is all about money, profit and loss, and who gigs better, who bids better. This is not the fact with them. So it can pose challenges with your in your relationship with your children. Now your daily routines, your challenges, your disputes post marriage, and your diseases, your enemies, they'll be masked. Basically you won't be able to differentiate between, you won't be able to segregate who is my friend and who is not. So that is a thing which you should take into consideration very seriously, because I have seen cases where Virgo risings in Navamsa have been backstabbed by the closest of their friends. So I think you should take this into consideration, and you would always don't blindly trust anyone, because that will be the lesson which will be taught to you by the universe, being this Virgo rising in the Navamsha. And that will be taught hard way if you don't get it early on. This can pose serious challenges in your life. Your elder siblings can also become the reason you getting into debts, heavy debts. So I would suggest that you shouldn't be becoming guarantor if anyone among your elder siblings are taking, or they are going for some kind of a loan. So that is something which you should take into consideration. Your spouse will be very much connected to religious spirituality sort of things, and they'll be more inclined towards isolation, and they would want that creative space for them, that isolated space for them. They would want to settle in a foreign land. And especially the thing is that if you are settled in a foreign land post your marriage, and you are constantly following a daily routine, then all the negative consequences out of your life with this axis of Virgo and Pisces in your Navamsa chart will be negated. So this is really a good karmic remedy which you can do. Your in-laws will be very much passionate, competitive sort of people. They would want you to they can nudge you, to perform better and to evolve into a better personality, offering you support because you have that competitive spirit in yourself too. So you would think that yes, they are good people, they understand my they have that civic sense of what is competing and what is not. It is not bad at all. So yes, you might have a good relationship with them. Your fortune and uh, your relationship with your father will be very much materialistic sort of. So you will have fortune in the form of fixed assets. Basically, you will have accumulated amount of wealth in your bank accounts. You will have good assets, basically in jewelry or whatever form, lands, plots, or that kind of a fixed asset sorts of a thing, that you have that constant inflow and outflow of cash, but your assets are in the form of fixed assets. Your fortune is in the form of fixed assets. So this will be the major thing which you will see. Your father can also become very materialistic after you getting married. So they would want this specific car, this specific bungalow, this specific clothes of that specific brand. So that is the thing which you can see in your father, they emerging into that kind of a personality. Your professional front will be very much chatty, jovial, and full of hustle and bustle. You would think that it is all lively, and it is the place where I feel energized, and that is the place I have been always wanted to be in. That is why you are competing for everything in your life, because of your professional front getting better. You would really get large amount of subordinates. So yes, you can get good promotions with this Virgo rising in your Navamsa chart. You will see that your workers, be it your boss even, they would be very much having a sibling sort of a relationship with you, that they would openly say something to you, and you will be able to comfortably share things, your personal things, to them. So that will be the thing which you will see. Your elder siblings would transfer into a very nurturing, emotional sort of a personality. Your incoming gains would be very much transactional. They will, like, you are having this amount of incoming gains this month, and then it is shrinked by 10% or even 5% or 50% even. So that will be constant transformations, ups and downs, and uneven sort of a income you will have. So this specifically do not show a stable professional life where you have that kind of of a fixed salary which will be credited to your account every last day of the month. That will not be so. You can earn so much in a month, and then it can fluctuate and it can come down in the next month. So this will be the major thing which you will see with your incoming gains post marriage. Your spirituality will be very much regal and royal sort of a thing. You would want to post your pictures on the Instagram if you are meditating, or if you are going on a pilgrimage, or if you are connecting to god or something, your religion in any way. You would want to show it to the world. You would want to uh, make it feel that I did this, and you would want to make your presence feel with your whatever groups or your relatives in such a way that they praise it. You would want the applause for that thing, for you doing meditation or you going to a pilgrimage journey or a pilgrimage trip. So that will be the thing. Or you can creatively find solutions to your spirituality, that you would not want to engage in regular prayers, regular basic type of traditional prayers. You would creatively analyze different solutions to it, like you writing songs in the praise of your god, or whatever things or rituals you can do, you can perform. You would think different creative ways for doing it. That will be the thing which will be seen. Now the interesting fact is that any air element sign, basically Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius, cannot transition into the sign of Virgo in the Navamsa chart rising. So basically what it shows is that if you have any air rising chart, so basically Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, you cannot have Virgo rising in your Navamsa then. So you must be either earth element rising in your birth chart, fire element rising in your birth chart, or water element rising in your birth chart. So you can have either of these three elements, but you cannot be air rising in your birth chart if you have Virgo rising in your Navamsha. So what it shows is the element transition is very important to study, because that forms the basic scenario of your married life and your life getting transformed into a certain kind of a thing, right? So if you were earth and you are transitioned into earth, so it would depend, like if you were Taurus rising, so you were more fixed, you were more stubborn, and now you are more dual natured. You are thinking before acting. You are, saying, I don't have this, I don't have that, is it worth it or not, or that kind of a thing will be seen in you getting materialistically chasing something, like that sort of a thing. Before you were very much fixed on your decisions, but now you are not. Or if you have Capricorn rising in your birth chart and now you are a Virgo rising, so what it shows is that you were very much you were movable, but you were very much towards that public dignity of yours. Now you are very much practical, and you just don't want to show the world. You just want to work for the downtrodden people, even if your uh, married life is very much dry and it is not very much charming and harmonious sort of a thing. You would completely either settle with it, adjust with it, or you would let it go. You would end it. You won't think of the public dignity. What will be happening with my public dignity or that sort of a thing will not be present in your mind in your post 36 years of your age or post marriage. So that will be the transition. If you were fire ascendant in your birth chart, you were more passionate and you were more goal oriented, and you just thought about, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that, and I won't I'll be chasing that thing and I'll get into that cutthroat competition, but you never implemented it. But now in the post 36 years of your age and after you getting married, you will be implementing those things. You will be getting into that race, you will be getting into that competition to win. So that is the transition of fire into Virgo earth. So this is how we have to study. Water element will be more nourishing, caring, and emotional, and now you are more practical and more goal oriented, and you are more on the practical realm, and you think that the world, it doesn't carry, it doesn't have a place for emotional people. Here you will accept this thing. Now the very important thing which you have to say, if you are a water rising in your birth chart, and especially if you are a Pisces rising in your birth chart and you are transitioning into Virgo, so this is a very curious case and it has to be studied deeply. Why? Because, like, if let's say if you are a Leo rising in your birth chart, you cannot transition into a Aquarius rising in your Navamsha chart. So yes, there have been specific zodiacs in the risings in the birth chart which can only transition into the rising or into the sign which is falling in the seventh house of the birth chart, which can then with the rising of the Navamsha. So yes, it will be a very curious case if you are a Pisces rising in your birth chart and you have transitioned into Virgo. It has to be keenly observed what is happening, because then it will show heavy karma associated with married life, associated with seventh house. So all the things associated with seventh house, your business partnerships, your spouse, your professional friend, your consultants, or the people you meet with and you even shake hands with, are the people in the seventh house. So that will be a very interesting thing which you should study. Let me know in the comment section below who are the Pisces rising in the birth chart and they have transitioned into the Virgo rising in Navamsha, and what kind of specific results or specific unique results they have encountered in their life. Now the other thing which we have to take into consideration is the non-Virgottam Lagna. Now if you have a Virgo rising in a Navamsha chart but you do not have a Virgo rising in Navamsha chart, you have any other rising, let's say Cancer rising or Leo rising, whatever it is. So you must look where this Virgo sign is falling in the birth chart of yours, in which house. That house will be the reason and it will be acting as a triggering point for activating your Navamsha. So let's say if you are a Leo rising in your birth chart and Virgo is falling in the second house of yours, your family, your relatives, your fixed assets, and your speech, your face will be the reason which will be forming and which will be activating your Navamsha chart. So maybe you had a good looking face, that is why you got married to such person on a practical ground. You never wanted to marry them, but you thought that it will be a practical decision and they chose you because of your either family or face or whatever it is in the case of Leo ascendants, and they will then activate your Navamsa. So it is very important to check where this sign of Virgo is falling in which house in the birth chart. It really forms major environments or circumstances you will encounter after married life or after 36 years of your age. So that is something which you should study always. And now if you want to know if you are a particular rising and what it is really suggesting, so don't forget to watch my D1 rising playlist, and I've attached the link in the description so you can go and check it out. So this was my understanding of you being a Virgo rising in Navamsa chart. Now I know it was a heavy reading. You might not be in a good mood after listening this, but this is the thing, it is the, if you have this karma, you shouldn't run away from it. You should be facing it with your full courage and with your full might. Then you will be able to get into and evolve into a good personality at the end of your life. So this is something which I wanted to tell you all. Virgo rising is your Navamsa chart. If you got some interesting insights about your specific risings, don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends and family. And please, if you want to regularly watch such quality content on astrology, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you.